The hell's that bullshit?
The awesome bells.
There's nothing awesome about that. Anyway, it's time for the Low Fact Podcast. If Brain Trust over here would know the order in which the thing goes.
It's supposed to be bells first, right? No?
No.
It's time for the Low Fact Podcast. Ding.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like I said. Anyway, so you got anything insightful to talk about?
No.
Of course not. So anyway, during the week, as the odd stuff has been going on, with, I guess it's not even really odd, the coronavirus stuff and the election stuff, I came to a realization.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Have you noticed that everything that goes on lately is really about keeping everyone engaged in the system?
No. I don't even know what that means. You mean keeping people...
Well, I don't even think that they have to work very hard to keep people engaged in the system. To have the buy-in. Like, think about it. The whole government thing. Vote, 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 and only vote.
Mm-hmm.
Signify your onboardedness. Is that the right term?
I think you just made that up.
Signify that you're agreeing to be a part of the system by voting and only voting. Signify that you're a part of the system by believing or whatever, by
wearing your mask.
Wearing facial coverings. And yes, for all the people out there that are wondering, there's some smoking going on.
What else is there to do?
But that's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
Wow, if that's all you got, then...
No, I don't understand how... I know I keep on harping on about the mask wearing thing, but...
Well, that's because you always ask the wrong questions.
What do you mean?
This is going to be another podcast topic, but that's...
Different topic?
Yeah.
But isn't wearing the mask part of that?
What?
Buying into the whatever?
Well, there are people that do.
And if you don't, then you're ostracized.
Depends on where you are, I suppose.
Well, I feel like here you're ostracized if you don't wear a mask.
Right.
For sure.
So
everybody's bought in here.
Your whole statement's actually kind of incorrect. Everybody's kind of bought in.
Everybody.
I remember talking to a good friend of mine who engages in some what a lot of people would call conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that if 10% would question, they would buy into his what they would call, they would buy into his, I don't know if buy in, but 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat there and thought about it. 10% is a lot of people. But if you think about it, everybody's already bought in. And it also led me to wonder why it's so important for us to buy in. Our bettors are our bettors, right? They know all things, and they have all kinds of power and all this junk and whatnot. I mean, even the people that sit there and say, fight the power, be part of the resistance, they've also bought in. I mean, for the last 4 years, the resistance people have all been establishment people that just didn't like Donald Trump. And they call themselves the resistance.
That just makes me feel like a dupe.
Well, doesn't really matter.
But I was all like, I used to watch Fox a lot. Because I thought Fox would always say that, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're fighting the establishment media, and then it turns out that Fox is the establishment media.
They're full of people that have worked in the quote-unquote establishment media.
Yeah, but that's why I feel like a dupe, though. Because I was like, yeah.
I always thought it was funny that the richest people in the country would sit there and talk about how it'd be so great for, this is a right, that's a right, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. I'm like, aren't you one of the richest people in the country? Why are you seemingly putting forth an idea that would take away all your money? And then I thought about it, I was like, oh, it wouldn't take away all your money. It'd just take away everybody else's money and give it to you.
Oh, shit.
Dude, even the old communist revolutions, they weren't started by uneducated rabble, of which there were tons of. Even the Iranian Revolution in '79, right? It was the Ayatollah Khomeini and a bunch of college students.
Things didn't go well for the college students afterwards.
I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know enough about anything to really say with any kind of authority about what's what, but
Well, I know that there's a lot of the wealthy are getting wealthier. The big companies.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's out of the ordinary.
So you don't think that there's been a change this year?
What do you mean?
Oh, just with the advent of everything going online and all that stuff.
That's been years in the making. You know, the stuff that people go into, I don't want to say hook, line, and sinker, but it is. The people that people have bought into over the last decade or so, which is supposed to bring people closer together. How the hell do you bring people closer together if you keep them apart?
I don't even know. Well, you can't.
And now, you know, people are like, oh, you know, everybody's all up in arms about Thanksgiving and all this junk. And I'm sitting there going, you didn't really spend that much time with these people in the first place. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal.
That just reminds me of what I was doing when we got told we were supposed to stay in our houses. I was like doing more walking and getting out of my house more than I'd ever done in like years.
But even, you know, so I don't even know what this was supposed to start off. Oh yeah, buy-in. Why is it so important that we buy in? And we've all bought in anyway.
How have we all bought in? What do you mean by buy-in? That's confusing me.
Oh, to keep the system going. We're all part of the system. The people saying the system needs to be changed, these are pretty well-off people. These are people that are doing pretty well in the system.
So they don't really mean it then?
I don't know if they do or if they don't. I'm just pointing out.
Well, they can't mean it. Because if the system is feeding them...
Well, that leads me to a different question. I mean, because you are a person that believes that words are more important than anything. Well, it's really just your words, really, right?
Yeah, my words are... Yeah.
Your words are more important than other people's actions. But for other people, their words are not that important. You really judge them on their actions.
Yes.
I'm not picking on you.
But it's true.
Again, I know it's true, but I'm not picking on you is the point.
Mm.
Don't you think that a lot of other people do the same thing?
Well, if I do it, then yeah.
Well, that's not necessarily an established fact, though. I mean, I always thought it was weird that the whole explanation of, oh, you know, the other, right? You make your opponents into the other, so it's easier to hate them or easier to discount them or easier whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there going, I don't really think that makes it easier at all.
To have the other?
They do it anyway.
No, you have to have an enemy.
Well, if you have to have an enemy, then this whole idea of unity and utopia is pretty much bunk, isn't it? If you always have to have an enemy in order for a group to be cohesive and work and do whatever, then you know, then this whole idea that you can have a group that just live in perfect harmony drinking Cokes and shit is just kind of false.
It's a nice idea, though.
Ideas are nice, but...
I used to love that commercial.
But I mean, think about it. This whole... There's all kinds of stuff going on right now saying, just admit it, there's a new president, the old guy needs to go away and all this junk, and then there's a whole bunch of people saying, no, and then there's a whole bunch of other people going, yeah. And somehow I just think that really what's going on is a cost-benefit analysis to see who's going to be the most violent.
Well, they don't know.
I think they do. Well, they're making their list and trying to figure out who will. But
that just reminds me of Santa for some reason.
Yeah, that was the whole point. But, you know,
they don't know though. I mean, the violent might be the folks that are being silent right now.
There's very few people being silent right now.
Really?
And if they're being silent, they're just being silent because they don't want to be... Like, I don't know why it's so important to be accepted by the group. Well,
but you've talked about this before. You have to kind of be part of the group, though, don't you, to get by, to get on, to get ahead.
In this system, what happens if the system goes away? There are more people that don't want the system to go away than want an actual change. Which led me to another question of why is change so scary?
Because it's like the unknown. The unknown is scary as hell to me.
I suppose, and I'm not putting forth these questions to get an answer because there's no satisfactory answer. Look, I want to be part of the system. I don't even know why. Because if my life has shown me anything, the system don't want me, and I'm still like, oh, but you do. Let me be part of this.
Do you really want to be part of this? Yeah, well, of course you do.
Don't I? Don't I want to make lots of money? Why? Not because I have money, but so that I can show everybody in the system, see? I've been accepted. I mean, my whole thing about wanting to be professionally successful is not so that I can have a bunch of money and light cigars with money and, like, you know, take baths and in gold ducats and have like burritos and hookers all over me. It's to kind of, it's a quick way. It's cred, right? I can't sit there and tell people how smart I am, but if I have tons of money, everybody knows about it. Like, well, that guy must have shit going on.
But what does that say about people? That they just
I
look
never
at
thought that far.
That people look at that and are like, oh, well, if somebody's successful,
it can't say that much about me either, does it? Right? I mean, you know, I can sit there and rail about everybody else being dumb and, you know, being seduced by all this junk. I want that stuff too, so that I can have, because that's the language that's the prevalent language now.
But what does that say that it's the prevalent language though?
I don't know why. Why does it have to say anything?
It says that that we're all stupid, that we like judge people just based on their material success.
Well, we do in this society at this point in time. I can say that for sure.
I mean, was it always that though?
I'm going to say yes. I mean, think back in history of all the people you know of. You don't know about the guy that's just kind of said, screw you guys, and went off on his own and did whatever. I mean, you can't, I don't even think you can do that. Well, I know I can't do that.
But we wouldn't know who that person is.
Right, because he's not part of the system, and the system has no interest in giving you alternatives.
Ugh.
I mean, some people call it the Matrix, right? There's all kinds of online videos about being, is it red-pilled? What's so important about being red-pilled? Okay, so you took the red pill, so what? So you know, okay, now you know. You still got a mortgage or rent to pay, or, you know, if you've managed to get to procreate with someone, you got kids, you got a spouse, you got all this junk going on. Okay, so you've been red-pilled, so what? Ain't nothing changed. It's not like y'all gonna leave. Which is another funny thing. You know, they're like, well, if this is the only game in town, why is it so important that everybody be part of the game? That's another thing that, you know, I'm just, these thoughts have all come to me, and I'm just sitting there going, I don't get it. And I still don't get it. And I think we'll continue to not getting it.